So today we are going to host a React application on an Nginx server using Docker. Let's see what's the steps that we need to follow. So first one is we need to create a React application. Then we will create a Docker file in that project, and then we will build an image using that Docker file, and finally we will run a container using that image. So our first step is creating a React app. So in this video we are not going into details of React application. We are just going to create a demo application and we'll build that and run that application into our browser. Right now I'm in command prompt in Windows. So for creating a React application, what we need a Node. So you can go to Chrome and search about Node and download the latest available Node or any recommended version of Node. So right now on my local I have version 16.13.2, and it in your case it can be something else. So we are going to use create React application library to create our app, and it's a very simpler and application. So let's so npx create React app, Nginx React is name, enter. Now it will download the default template of React application, and it will also download all the required packages. So yeah, it's creating a new React app. It will take some time to download and set up everything on our local. So our application is ready now, and let's see how it looks in the browser. So for that, move into the Nginx application and run npm start. It will start our application into browser, so we can check how it looks. So here our development service is started, and let's check in the browser how it looks. So yeah, here is our browser, and these are default application that we just created. Let's open our application in the VS Code. Now we are in our VS Code. Let's open the main file. It is app.js, and let's update our application, delete everything from here, and add title. Deploy React app using Docker and Nginx. Save it. Open terminal in. Okay. Now start our application, and let's see the changes in the browser. So our server is started, and now move into the browser. And if you see, yeah, this one is our new application, and this one is our old before changes. Our application is updated. First step is create a React application. It's working fine. And our second step is creating a Docker file into our React app. So VS Code. So we are in VS Code again, and let's add a new file, Docker file. So here we added a Docker file, and in this example React application, we need two separate images, base images. First one is Node to build our application, and second one is the Nginx to deploy our application to the server. So here we are going to use two different images. First one is Node and second one is the Nginx. So this process is also known as multi-stage build, and we can also add assign some names to every stage. Like for here we can Node is going to use to build our application, so we can use as a builder. So here we are using multi-stage build, and here we are using multiple images. So first one is Node to build our project, and the second one is the Nginx to serve our content. So in multi-stage build, the final size of the image that we are going to build will depend on the last stage. So in our case, it is Nginx. So in first stage, we are using the Node image as a builder, And here we are copying everything whatever we have in our project to the our base image, and then we are using npm install to install all the dependency, and then finally we are building the project using npm run build. And in second stage here nginx, we are copying our build data whatever we have after build into the this path of nginx where we need to serve, that will going to serve on the server. This is the simplest form of the Docker file that will be we are going to use for the React application. So that's it from this step. Now move on to the next step to build our image. So next step is to build a Docker image using Docker file. So we already know that we can build an image using Docker build command. So let's see. So here we are back in our VS Code and terminate the ongoing process. See, clean the terminal. Let's close this side window too. Okay, so to build image, Docker build and give a tag to that image. And in our case, we are going to use the React application using Nginx. So let's use this name Nginx React. And second argument is the path of the Docker file. So we are in the same folder. So just use the add and the enter. So here in the build process, we got the error. It can't find the build path, and the reason behind this error is the this build path is available in the first stage, not available in the second stage. For that, we provide the form tag here. So basically, the build path is available in the builder, and here. So it will take the build path from this first stage and then copy that every content in this path. Okay, let's start it again. So our image is ready. Let's check the image using Docker. So here is image, Nginx React tag is latest. Okay, and let's check the logs of the image that we just built. Here we are using the multi-stage build process, so you can also see the name of the builds. Here you can see the first stage, builder stage, where we are going. We are building our application, and in this stage we have 4 instructions. Here we can see here we have 4 instructions in the first stage, and this one is the first instructions out of the 4. And similarly we can see other stages as well. So this one is the stage 1. Basically in it's a stage 2 of the Nginx, but we have not provided any name to this stage, so that's why it's taking default name. And in this stage we have 2 instructions. So here it is the first out of the 2 instructions. Basically it's downloading the Nginx image, and so on. We can see the other steps. So like here it is the builder stages, second instructions, either 3 out of 4 npm install. Then this one is the final 4th instructions, and this one is the our last stage, second instructions, basically the second and the last instructions, where we are copying everything in the Nginx server. So final build size depends on the last stage of our Docker file. So here in our case we have Nginx. So and the build time mainly depends on the order of the instructions and the of course the build that base image that we are using. So here it's a simpler Docker file. We are not doing anything to improve our build size or build time. Maybe in next year we will check how can we improve our build time and size using some different kind of images, and they change the order of the instructions, and how can we use the caches, layer caching of the Docker. Okay, so our image is ready and we have completed these steps, and let's check what's the next step for us. So we build the image using Docker file, and so we now next step is to run a container using that image, and just clear everything. And to run a container, use docker run command. It should be in background mode. Okay, and we need to assign a port to use our application. So let's use the ATT port as a host port, and it is the default port of the Nginx, and add a name to the server, sorry, to the container, React web app, and then use the name of the image. So in our case, our image is the Nginx React, Nginx React. So our container is ready. Let's check the list out all the containers using docker ps command. Yeah, so our container is ready, and let's try to run this on 880 port. So this one is the web application that we run on the browser on our local using npm start, and try to open our container. It was running on the localhost 8080. Yeah, and it's working fine. And okay, now go back to VS Code again and try to update the content of the, and let's build the image again. So I'm back in the file app.js. Let's add the port number here, running at, so 8080 port is already using, so let's use the new container that will run on the 8081. Save the file, then clear everything in the command prompt. Okay, let's increase this height. Okay, now try to build the image again. Yeah, so again we are going to build image, and this time it will take a little bit less time, because this time we already have node image, and the Nginx image should use the cache layer of that image. So our new image is ready, and this time it's take a little bit lesser time than the previous one because of the Docker cached. It's not downloading again the base images and choosing cache. So here you can see our first stage, the builder stage, where the node images are coming from the cache, and as well as the Nginx image also coming from the cache. So next video we'll check how to use the Docker cache to reduce the build time. Okay, let's check the new image using Docker images command. So we have new image here, Nginx React, and the size is 142 MB, and this size depends on the our last stage Nginx base image. And you can see here we have the none showing in this image. It is our previous image, and we created new image with the same name and same tag, so that's why the previous image is showing as none, and this image is known as the dangling image. So even we can, if we want to filter out, actually if we want to list out all the dangling images, we can use the filter command of the Docker. So like Docker images, and it will should list out all the images, but we want only the dangling image. So we can something like dangling equals to true. So here we added a filter with the Docker images command. So here we can see that we have only dangling image. Okay, so now image is ready. Let's try to run our container. So we are already using the 8080. So let's move it on the 8081, and also we need to change the name of the container. So let's append the 8081 report. Image is same. Enter. So our container is ready. Use command docker ps to list out all the containers, running containers only. So here we have two containers. One is running on 8080, and the updated one is running on the 8081. And here this new name for this container. Okay, now move on to the browser to check the changes is applied or not. This one is the old container running on the 8080. Let's refresh this one. Okay, it's working fine. And now open a new tab with port 8081. Enter. Yeah, this one is reflecting the new changes. Deploy React app using Docker and Nginx running on the 881. So finally, we are able to run the React application using Nginx server and Docker. In our next video, we will check how can we improve our Docker file, how can we use the Docker ignore file image, and how can we improve the build size, the build time, and what are the best practices that we need to follow or we need to keep in our mind while creating Docker file, and how can we use the Docker cache, layer cache, and the low sizes images like Alpine images. So that's it from this video.